Hi there, Chris, Chap in the Cap, Motor Legends, here today to talk to you about a new boot from the Italian brand Falco. It's a boot that's called the Tensho. So this is the boot that we're going to be talking about today. It is the Tensho boot from Italian brand Falco. Now, I think this is a boot that's aimed fairly and squarely at TCX, and that's a bold move because TCX created this market, TCX to an extent own this market, and if you're going to compete with them head to head, you need a good boot. I don't think this boot is aimed at their brand new Street 3 boot as much as the old boot, the X Groove, and I say that because like the S Groove, it's a little bit shorter and it's got a zip up the side. So maybe Falco knew something that the rest of us didn't, that TCX were going to discontinue this boot because what's good now is they're competing with a boot that really doesn't exist. So they've got this little niche of the market pretty much themselves. The boot itself is made of a full grain leather that's been oil treated. Now, oil treated does a couple of things. It makes the leather look nice, it gives it a kind of natural patina. It softens the leather, but it also gives the leather a degree of waterproofing. I'm going to come on back and talk about it also has a waterproof membrane, but even without the membrane, this leather is not going to absorb moisture in the way that some leathers do. Around the shaft of the boot here, the top end of the boot, you have this padding area, this banded padding area. That's known as microsynth. It's a material that Falco called microsynth. It's there for a couple of reasons. It is going to make the shoe a little bit more comfortable to wear because it's nice and soft against the skin, but it's also going to make the boot breathe a little bit better. In terms of protection, you've got a counter in the toe, a counter in the heel, and in the ankles, you've got a couple of D3O cups. Now, clearly, a boot like this you don't buy purely in terms of protection. It's going to be more protective than a boot that you get in a sports shop, but you're buying a boot like this because you want a mix of protection and comfort. So if this is the kind of boot you want because you want to be able to move around off the bike and wear these boots maybe all day and be comfortable in them, this is a great boot, and you're going to know that it's got a level of protection as well. In terms of the membrane, Falco uses a membrane called Hi-Tex. It's a perfectly good membrane. Point we always make when talking about a short boot is that you do not buy a short boot if your primary concern is waterproofing or staying dry, because the rain's going to hit the ground as you're riding along, it's going to come over the top of the shaft, it's going to come into the foot. This is a particularly low boot, so it's going to be more prone to suffering from that phenomenon than some taller boots. But as far as a boot, if this is the boot you want, if this is the style of boot you want, and if it's comfortable, this is as waterproof as you're going to get in a boot like this because you've got the oiled leather and you've got a membrane as well. You've got this zip up the inside of the boot. Now, that doesn't open particularly far because obviously you've got the membrane inside there. So people think that if you've got a boot with a zip up, you'll be able to get in without using the laces. I don't really think that's the case with this boot because that gusset is not particularly generous. In theory, if you ran the laces loose, you could get your foot in and out without undoing the zip, but then you're going to be riding along in a boot that could easily come off in an accident, and I don't suppose that makes any sense for anybody. The sole is an oil-resistant, non-slip sole. Bottom line, I think this is a really good looking boot. It's not going to deliver the highest levels of protection. It's not going to deliver the highest levels of waterproofing. This is a boot about comfort. It's priced at £160. Now, there are cheaper boots out there, but these boots are handmade in Europe. I think it's a great boot. It's got all of the elements you want. And really, if it's the kind of boot that you like, then there's no reason not to go for it. This, by the way, this is what they call the black version. It's kind of, no, actually this is the grey version. There is a black version, a totally black version, but we're not going to do that. We just think that in this kind of boot, when you want a more casual look, that black isn't necessarily the way you want to go. So this is a grey boot. You've still got the oiled leather, you've still got the patina. It's the same boot. That's just a matter of taste. We like it. Both are priced at £160. If you'd like to see more Falco boots, or perhaps just more short motorcycle boots, then visit the website motorlegends.com. If you want to learn more about this particular boot, then if you click on one of the links on the screen, sometimes they're up there, sometimes they're down there, that will take you directly to a dedicated page on the website. Now there you can check out availability, you can check out the spec in a little bit more detail, and obviously if you want to buy one, you can do that there and then. When you buy from us, we try to make the process as simple, straightforward and risk-free as we possibly can. There's no delivery charge on any item of protective wear that you buy from us. Returns are totally free, and what's more, we give you a full 12 months in which to decide whether you do want to return something to us. We have the best price promise in the business. Now, John Lewis is rightly famed for its never knowingly undersold price promise. We go one stage better. If you can find anyone selling anything that we sell at a price that is lower than ours, we will beat that competitor's price by a full 10%. If the retailer, by the way, is in the EU and not in the UK, we will match their landed price. Now, there are a few terms and conditions to do with the price beat, nothing particularly onerous, but if you are going to price beat us, then I suggest you visit the website and check out what those terms and conditions are. If in the future you'd like to receive bulletins from us about new products, then if you go to the website, at the top of every page there's a piece of script that says newsletter sign up. Click on there, within seconds you'll be in business. If however you would prefer to get your information videographically, that is to say in this form, we would be simply delighted if you wanted to become a subscriber to our YouTube channel. The other way obviously to keep in touch is to follow us on Facebook. I'd like to finish off with a little play for our shop here in Guildford. We are based about a mile from the centre of Guildford, a mile from the railway station. The shop is small in terms of its footprint, but it's attached to our warehouse where we have more than £2 million worth of merchandise arranged over 3 floors. Technically makes this, small as it might seem, the second largest motorcycle apparel shop in the country. But we actually think that we're far more than just the amount of stock we have here in the building. We're all about service, we're all about personal fitting. If you want to check us out, visit Trustpilot. We have the highest 5-star ranking in the business. When you come and see us, we'll serve you only the finest Italian illy coffee, or we'll serve you proper Yorkshire tea in a proper teapot. And who knows, if you're lucky, you might even get to sample one of Sean's mum's delicious motorcycle-shaped shortbread biscuits. Anyway, this has been Chris. I hope to talk to you again soon.